morning, everybody. Welcome to Card Time with Texas Card Dude. I am your Texas Card Dude. Yeah, got my first cup of coffee in me. Still in an insomnia bout because I've got, I don't know why. I got caught chasing the YouTube videos last night and got caught chasing, going down the rabbit hole for researching players. Hey, what is up? What's up, Jason? Good morning. Good morning. There's Tom. Good morning, Tom. Good morning, Tom. Something weird's happening. I don't know. I got a caller in or something like that. I don't know. Hold on. Oh, wait a minute.
What's up, kids?
Weekly news and interviews. It's your number one source. Sports Talk Nation. The hobby is the people. Sports Talk Nation.
Yeah, I got to shout out. That's not me singing, by the way. Not that there was any doubt that it wasn't me singing. That gentleman is actually a professional. His name's Eric Dano. He's the lead singer for a band called the Hollyphonics. They kind of do everything. They do kind of a ska version, and I know they tour, and they did the theme song for Sports Card Nation, which I gotta admit, pretty catchy. So
it is.
Although I've heard it a million times, so it's not as catchy to someone who hasn't heard it a million times.
Well, John and I were talking the other night in the hot tub, and I go, "Dude, what are you doing Friday?" And he said, "Nothing." And I said, "Well, let's jump on and do some silliness here." So I will have some standard stuff and some stuff for us to talk about, but this is more just us goofing off because why not?
Goofing off is my major in college, so this is right up my alley.
Yeah, I got a PhD in LAZY, so.
Too many letters. I don't know how to spell that, but I'll take your word for it.
That's because you're from New York, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of New York, Mariano Rivera is doing autograph signing. I sent you a link. So I don't know if you do that, but
he's been here to Syracuse. He's a pricey signature, but one thing I will say in his defense, I think most, if not all, the money raised goes to charity. So can't beat that. So while you might complain about the price, just know that he's really not profiting off of it. So something to look at. When he's been here a couple of times, I was just doing something else, so I didn't make it. But one of these days, I'm going to try to get there. So,
yeah, and then Jerry Rice announced a signing. So he's announced a private signing. I guess these guys are going more into private signings. It makes sense.
Man, the money's too good. Like, I don't, people get mad. Again, we, the consumer, control this, right? If Mariano's charging $225 for a signature, and it's great because it all goes to charity, that's the good part. But if you feel that's too high, then you don't sign up. You don't go there. You don't send in your money to get an autograph, and those prices will come down. So, it's just like grading, right? We complain about the grading prices. Quit subbing. You'll be surprised how fast that price will come down. So it's as simple. I hate to make it as simple as that, but it really sort of is. And I don't blame the players for. Most of these a lot of the veteran players, retired players, honestly, probably make more in now that they're retired with endorsements and signature deals than they did during their playing days. Not in all cases, don't get me wrong, but in a good percentage of them. So can't blame them.
Yeah, and then signatures doing Staubach. So I did put in my jersey for a Staubach autograph. But you talk about prices increasing. Big Poppy, his autograph almost overnight, he signed a Fanatics deal, and his autograph went from $100 to $349 overnight. And that was
Yeah.
it's just ridiculous.
I tell you, folks, too. When these autograph deals are made like that and the prices go up, a great secondary. If you just want the autograph of that player, a great place to go is on other selling platforms and buy some of the certified cards. I've gotten, I've sold them, but I've gotten Mariano, not all the time, but I use him for example because we talked about him.
Yeah.
I've bought some certified autos of Mariano cheaper than what he's charging at an event. So as long as you don't mind that, hey, I didn't go see him in person or, shake his hand. If you're just looking for the auto itself, the secondary market, especially with certified cards, is honestly your best bet. If you don't mind missing that interaction. Now, be careful on the secondary market with, AKC. Be careful on the secondary market with not certified auto. So like buying a mini helmet or an 8x10 or a baseball sign, because those things could be not real. When I'm talking about certified autos, I'm talking something that comes out of a pack of Topps, Panini, or another product, Leaf, Onyx, that has that. And we could go down that rabbit hole. Some of that stuff, Don Six stuff, the auto pen deck, but 98% of that, if not higher, is the genuine article. So if you're looking, just say I want a Mike Tyson. I recently bought the Mike Tyson autograph offered by Topps for the 1 or 2 days online. I want a Mike Tyson. Would I love to meet Mike Tyson? Sure, that'd be great. But I just wanted a Mike Tyson auto in my collection. So that Topps offering was a great opportunity to finally grab that card. And even better, he's wearing a Mets starter jacket and he's punching Dwight Gooden in the face as Darryl Strawberry looks on. So,
nice.
If you just, that's my best advice. If you're looking for just autos, you just want to acquire an auto of a favorite player or you're gifting it to someone, those certified cards are sometimes they go for a lot less sometimes. And it always amazes me when like you say, Big Papi signed that deal with Fanatics. You could probably go on eBay right now or other selling platforms, My Slabs for a grade, and pick up a David Ortiz autograph, certified auto, probably half or less than half of what you would have to pay Fanatics now. So just be like a frugal consumer. Now, again, if meeting them, getting a photo op with that athlete is that important to you, then what I said really is not going to help you. But if you're just looking to acquire an autograph item, then it will.
Yeah, I know Papi still has some 1 or 2 baseballs that are about $100 still on eBay. I didn't check My Slabs for an auto, so I need to look at that. But if you're going to go to see Tyson, though, make sure you cover up your ears.
He's actually, from what you see, like especially since he retired, he's sort of mellowed out. He's become a nicer guy, and again, he's being born in 1972. 14 years old when he won the title for the first time, and he's from Brooklyn like myself. I don't condone obviously all the criminal stuff he did outside the ring and inside the ring. I don't condone that. It's terrible. He served his time. I don't like him for that. I admire him for being the baddest man on the planet for a good run of years, and probably one of the greatest boxers the sport has ever seen. And so that's where my admiration lies into the athlete himself, not the outside the ring and inside the ring antics, just the pure boxing stuff.
Yeah, nobody. I so remember because we respect your elders. I'm a little bit older than John.
Not by much.
But I do remember I do remember just whenever Mike Tyson fought. Hey, no, not many people wanted to because
Yeah.
it didn't last more than a minute into the ring. But just everybody, just any way you could go see Mike Tyson fight, it was an event. It was an absolute event.
To me, he was the guy that really made pay-per-view what we know it today.
Yeah,
He was
yeah,
the first one where people were plunking down $50. And back then, $50
that's a
is
lot.
more money than we think it is. Today it's not that big of a deal, but back then it was even more. And people were easily, I mean, I know here in New York, people would go to local locales, a
Hmm.
bar, a restaurant, to watch the fight. I mean, it was must see TV, even though most of the must see TV lasted between 1 and 3 minutes for the most part,
Yeah,
uh, because people either got knocked out or got knocked out being scared. Just took the punch, went down, and collected their paycheck, and exited stage left. So, but it was just the whole, even the pre-fight stuff, and
yeah,
the way he would just stare down an opponent, like even before the fight, the bell even rang. It was must see event, and it really put paper to me. Someone can tell me if they think it's someone else. I think he's the one that really put pay-per-view on the map and made it a thing. So
yeah. If there was maybe somebody, maybe that you could, in my mind, it was Pacquiao. I mean,
yeah, but
Pacquiao.
Pacquiao was really after
Yeah,
Tyson, and he's not. There's some with that heavyweight division too,
right.
where you're gonna get more now. Pacquiao, great boxing, but those fights are gonna probably go 12 or 15 rounds. So if you're a true fan of the sweet science, as they call it, you're going to get to see 12 or 15 rounds of action. And Pacquiao, again, one of the pound for pound greatest fighters, too, pound for pound. But,
Hmm.
that heavyweight class where any one punch can
Yeah.
change the course of a fight, we saw. And while we're on the topic of Tyson, do we think of the Buster Douglas fight, right? No one
Oh yeah.
thought.
Yeah.
No one thought that guy was going to be the one that beats Tyson, and it was a punch, right, that sent him reeling, and then more came after that. It was the one of the biggest upsets in not boxing history, but probably sports history. And Buster Douglas made a career out of probably 4 to 5 punches that landed in that fight for the rest of his life. Hopefully, he handled his money well,
I hope
uh,
so.
or maybe he didn't, but and that's the lore of fighting,
Hmm.
professional fight, whether it be UFC, MMA, or boxing, right? One one kick or punch that lands, you can be losing the fight, and that thing lands, and it changes the complexion. So it's why
Exactly.
we turn in. It's why we turn in and watch these things.
Yeah. Did you see where Fanatics and the NHL are putting a flagship store right outside Madison Square Garden?
No, but that's my team right there, with the Rangers playing in Madison Square Garden, and I did not hear that. Doesn't surprise me. Now they have, I don't. I hope Upper Deck, keeps its license. They do a great job with hockey.
Yeah.
For we could go down this rabbit hole about Tops and Panini not being great, and it
Yeah.
cost them their license, and I would be hard to argue that, honestly. They're really culpable in this too. While I don't like a 20-year deal, but to me, and again, I don't know all the behind the scenes stuff. I think Upper Deck has done a great job
Mhm.
promoting it. Their releases, to me, they don't over flood anything. Their cards are, hockey cards are, Upper Deck hockey cards, design wise, are some of the best looking cards we have in the hobby. From the blades of steel, stainless steel cards, that, I mean, just the trilogy look, the cup. I mean, it's just they do a great. Again, too late now, but maybe I just wish they had some of the other sport. The way they design cards,
Yeah.
I wish they had baseball, football, and basketball. It'd probably be a lot broker because I'd be opening probably a lot more. But I thought, to me, they've done a great job with the NHL line, and I hope they continue to do it. And again, I don't, people wanted to see different people make, but at the same time, I don't think it's good that one company has a monopoly on all the four major sports. And so they got three in a few years, and I hope they don't get four. And I hope, I've talked about this on my programs. I hope the Topps line and Panini lines live on in some form or fashion, whether that's Fanatics, subleasing, buying those companies and keeping some of those brands alive. Time's going to tell. It's too early, I think, for that. But I don't think one company owning four brands, four major sport licenses is necessarily a good thing. And 20 years to grant anyone a 20-year license, especially someone's never done it in the industry before, is crazy. When you're going to the doctor, right, and maybe for something of significance, a surgery, or you got to see a specialist, right? What do most people do? I'm sure not everyone does it, right? They research, right? Or they talk to other people. Hey, I may need this surgery or this procedure. Who do you recommend? Or you had this done. Was he good? Was she good? But to kind of coming back full circle here, to give someone to do a license to do something for 20 years when they haven't done it before officially, I think that's a bit much. But I think the big thing there too, Brad, is, as we both know, is the players now have a seat at the table in equity, and they're going to get paid from cards like they've never been paid before. So I think that's where the 20 years comes in. It might have been a give and take. Fanatics said, hey, you want an equal seat at the table, players and players associations, players union, make this contract long. We're going to be partners. Money does talk. If we're going to be partners, let's be longtime partners. If we have faith in each other, let's get married, right? When you get married,
this phrase just went off in my head. Let's not date. Let's get married.
Yeah, when you get married, right? You don't say, "Hey, let's get married for 3 years and then we'll reassess it and see if we want to stay married." Right? Now that might happen in reality, but it's till death. When you say those vows, right? It's till death do us part. And so I think that's what Fanatics use that play. Just say, "Hey, we're gonna be partners and equal at the table. Let's not be partners for 3, 4, 5 years. Let's be partners for 20." Now, I don't agree with that. I think that's way too long to give someone carte blanche. I mean, to me, 10 years would have been a long licensing deal. And here we're at 20. Just think about it. Whatever age you are now, add 20 years. That's how old you'll be when that So I'm going to be sick. I don't even know if I'll live that long. The Fanatics contract might outlive me.
Us.
At 48. But now, there's probably wording in the contract, Brad, like if they do something wrong, they can terminate the contract early. But in general, it's 20 years, and to me,
I hope they made
way too long.
Part of that.
What?
I hope they made redemptions a part of that, because now if they don't sign the redemptions, then
I think you're going to see with the players' equity now and the players being really directly involved. I think if there is a positive out of this deal right off the bat, I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see a lot less redemptions. I really do. I think you're going to see. We've seen players go on social media with some of the cards that they were supposed to send back, and it doesn't look like they're sending those back. Maybe that stops because they're just getting paid. And someone asked me the other day in person at the show here in Syracuse. I did. That knows I do the podcast, and then they said, could this Fanatics deal be bad where it sort of hurts the hobby, not maybe kills it, but really puts a damper on.
It could.
I said it could. Listen, everything's unknown right now, right? We know the hobby changes not by the day, but more by the hour than ever before, by the week, by the day, So I don't know. I hope not, or someone who's being in the hobby, but like Tom said, exclusive contracts do. If you look at the history of them, they have some bad tendencies to them, some bad history there. Again, every situation is different. Fanatics paid a lot of money for these contracts, times 3, and they're still buying other entities. They have to be smart too. They have smart people there. Let's not, totally throw them under the bus. They have analysts and numbers crunchers that are trying to figure, what they can afford to do and still, have their head above water. So it's going to be a lot of interesting things. What does Topps and Panini do their last few years with their lines? What does Fanatics do once they get that control? Hopefully, smarter heads prevail, but we'll see. We'll see. So
yeah,
it's going to be interesting for
sure.
No other way to put it.
Yeah, I did this one. This note. This is probably maybe a little bit out of your comfort zone or out of your lane, but
there's not too much out of my comfort zone. But go
ahead. So I read where the NBA Players Association hired attorney Tamika Tramaggio. I had to think about that for a second. I had the honor of meeting her in Dallas at a function last year. And I will say, while it's a little side note and while it's not, great, big, huge news, the NBA is in trouble. This lady is a fierce competitor. She thrives on competition. She is brilliant. She is fierce. She is an amazing woman. And this upcoming player contract for the NBA, watch out, because it's gonna be a dog cat fight, and she's not gonna roll over. But she is not gonna roll over. And black woman, grew up, disadvantaged. She works with disadvantage, so she's gonna highlight that. Brilliant move by them, and just get ready, y'all, because it's going to be a fun watch, and get your popcorn ready.
Well, here's the thing. You could argue that of all the 4 major sports, right, that the NBA players have the most power.
Yep.
Already. Let's look at that. They hire and fire coaches. If you don't believe that, you're not watching. And I'm not even a huge NBA guy, and I know that.
Yep.
They control coaching moves. Look, we're seeing super teams, right? Guys openly recruit players. Come here, we'll trade for you. Sign here when you're a free agent. We'll make a 3-headed monster. In baseball, you really even can't do that, at least legally. It's called collusion.
Yep.
So
they got away with it.
Yeah, basketball, the players run the league more now than ever before. It's one of the reasons I'm probably not a huge. It's out of the 4 major sports. It's probably 3rd or 4th as far as me following it.
Yeah.
I probably follow it more because of the cards than if I wasn't doing sports cards. I probably wouldn't even care that much about the NBA. The players have literally all the power. Now, I'm not doubting Tamika's prowess and her lawyer skills, but they already have a lot in their corner. So
yeah.
I guess they want their cake and eat it too. So we'll see. But if I'm an NBA owner, Brad, and I'm an owner of a team that's like a mid-market or lower, where I'm not. Listen, Sacramento Kings aren't winning an NBA championship anytime soon. Some of these other teams. These other than the 4 or 5 teams that can win it at this time, I'm probably selling my team while at the highest peak while I can. I mean, they're always going to be very marketable and expensive, but I'm going to get out. If you're Sacramento Kings, how do you sell? How do you sell that team? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not winning it. We're not winning the championship. We may not even, most likely, not going to get into the playoffs. We'll have high draft picks, and hopefully, we'll have a star here for 2-3 years until they go sign their next deal with one of them super teams. It's become a super team league, 3-4 teams. I mean, I know Milwaukee has some players, and Giannis is the centerpiece. But what they pulled off is pretty good because they're in Milwaukee, right? They're not in some would argue not a major city in the same sense as Chicago, New York, Boston, L.A. And they won an NBA title in a full season, unlike the year before, and so kudos to them. I guess it can be done, but again, they got arguably the best player in the NBA too. So let's not forget that. But if you're one of those middle dwelling teams, what's the sell there? Where it's sort of like a feeder system, I guess, to the next super team or to keep a super team going out. I feel like the NBA's 5 or 6 teams that could potentially win, and then the other 20-something are just feeder programs potentially to those 5 or 6 teams. And
look at the Spurs. I mean, look at the Spurs. I mean, it's great history, great NBA 1980s, early 1990s history, and they're always a good team and they're in the mix, and they've gotten lucky with grabbing 1 or 2 players here and there. They haven't really made that jump into the next echelon recently. So
they've regressed is what's happened. Well, when these other teams have built super teams, right? My team too, Brooklyn Nets, 3 superstars, right? Lakers, 2.5 superstars, if you want to say. They're trying to get now 3. With Westbrook, and so we're seeing these teams. Like if you're on this other team and you're not a destination team, you're like, I want to get out of here too. No one's coming here and playing with me and making a 3-headed monster. I got to go somewhere else and be part of that. And so you got 5 or 6 teams that are vying for a championship, and then you got 20-something others that are just sort of treading water, feeding other teams. And I don't think, if I'm Adam Silver, I don't know the answer to that. It's not an easy fix, but I don't think that's a good problem. They may be doing good financially, and the league may be doing very well financially. I'm sure they are. But for fan base wise, I've heard a lot more people this year say I'm not really a fan of basketball anymore, the way it's set up. And, I'm not a fan. You're not a fan of those 5 teams that we're talking about. What are you rooting for? What are you paying 4-figure season tickets for? Probably more for the visiting teams come in. Hey, I want to see those Lakers and those 3, the Durant, Kyrie, Nets come in here and play the 1 or 2 times they do.
That's what it happens here. I mean, let's face it, Texas isn't a top-tier market. We try to be, but we're not. I have conversations about Luka on a weekly basis because, everybody wants to talk about Luka being – who are they going to add to Luka? Who are they going to add to Luka? What's the plan to Luka? Is Luka going to go away?
Is that, it all comes down to, can Dallas and Mark Cuban lure another guy or 2 to make them a potential super team? If not, Luka's going to, like you just said, he's going to leave and become part of someone else's super team. And you whatever Dallas Mavericks season tickets go for, they're probably not going to drop the price that much, if at all, when Luka leaves, if that's what happens. And so what do where's your bang for your buck, right? The NBA to me has become there's a, in baseball, we have a minor leagues, right? We have we
Right.
have a triple A, a double A, a single A, a rookie ball. And in the NBA, the minor leagues are in the league. They're playing.
Unfortunately.
They're on the schedule, as along with the rest of the super teams. The minor league teams are posing as NBA teams, and I don't think that's good. I don't think that's good for fandom. I don't think that's good. It doesn't look good. It might be good for the wallet and the league's wallet, but long term, right? Again, like I said, I've heard more people say they're bailing on the NBA because the teams they root for, their hometown teams, have zero shot of doing any damage. You look at Luka on Dallas, right? They haven't had an extensive playoff run at all. They need more help. I'm not saying Luka's not a great player. He is. He's proven that. But you can't do it by yourself. And so unless Mark Cuban or Luka can themselves get another player or two to sign and come to Dallas, or trade and come to Dallas, Luka's going to probably wind up somewhere else, and Dallas is going to be in for some really, really lean years potentially. And that, I don't think that's good. I think parity is better, where you go as a fan, right? What better feeling as a fan when almost no matter what your team is, you go into the season with the hope of a playoff run and maybe a title chance, right?
Yeah.
25 teams in the NBA. You wake up on opening day and like, we're not winning no chance. We're probably not even gonna make the playoffs. So that's not a good feeling. What's the sell other than watching the sport live, right? And now, we've gotten, here's the other thing. I don't think the pandemic has been good to season tickets because people got used to being home and watching stuff. I think, why am I going to spend $1,500, $2,500, depending on where you're sitting, or more on a season ticket when I can stay at home and order food and be in the comfort of my home? When I got to go to the bathroom, I don't have to wait in a line for 20 minutes, and
you don't have to put up with the drunkards. Yeah, no.
So
let's talk what we talked about. Let's just move right into the baseball problem. Texas Rangers are a great example. They just sent out their pre-buying for season tickets, and I went to look because I love those young players and I want to watch them come up. But for 2 season tickets on a mini plan for the 5th worst team in baseball was $1,900 per ticket for 43 games. To see that product on the field, to see no superstars, to see no real draw whatsoever, I almost laughed. I almost absolutely laughed. And there's no, the ballpark is nice, and the Yankees are coming, the Phillies are coming, the Mets aren't coming. Oh wait, the Mets are coming. You're going to get to see, and that's what happens. Is the Cubs fans and all those other fans from
how bad is that, Brad? If you're selling the visiting teams more than your own team,
exactly.
Right? Hey, listen. Hey, I'm gonna have you over to dinner. Can you cook? My wife's terrible. Cook. I get you promote teams that are coming in to sell tickets. I get it. But when that's your only sell, that's not a good place to be. And you just recently went to a Frisco game.
Yeah.
You saw more talent on that team probably than
I did.
What's at Globe Light Field, and for a lot less money.
Yep.
So you got to know your worth. Texas, whoever's in that marketing department, they really got to say, listen, right now we're rebuilding, and we don't have we don't have a great lineup right now, sometimes you got to lower your prices.
Yep.
So you don't get the response Brad's doing. And I'm sure they're getting that response, not just from Brad, but from a lot of people. Like, what am I paying for? To see, Brock Holt, no disrespect to Brock Holt, a great utility player, but, I don't even know if he's still on the team. He was there when he went. He hit a home run, too.
Yeah.
But, like, if you pay for steak, right, at a restaurant, you don't want a hamburger coming out on that plate brought to your table, right? You pay for steak, you want a steak price. If you got hamburger, if your team is hamburger, that's fine. You got to rebuild. You got to work on it with some hamburger until you build back up the steak. Charge hamburger prices until you can get away with charging steak prices. Again, I'm going to go down that line I always say, right? Consumers control the price. If those Texas Ranger fans like yourself get that price list or that renewal, and with those prices, they got to do the math and say, I'm not paying this for this product. It's not worth it, right?
Yeah.
And so, consumers can set the price. If everyone gets their season ticket renewals and they scoff at the price and say, you know what? I'm not sending this back with a check. I'm not sending it back. That price will come down, or they'll have a lot of empty seats. One or the other. They don't want the empty seats. So,
not on that stadium.
I hate to say it like that, but that's really what it comes down. We've seen that in the hobby, right? Score Football comes out, $450 when it first comes out, $300, $350. It doesn't sell. What happens? The price does come down because people are buying it.
Right.
These distributors, these store owners, LCS owners, they don't want to collecting dust on their shelf, So,
they might be. They've got a couple of decent upcoming players though. There's Mike.
Yeah, they got some young stars, with Hayes. I don't know if Cisco's. I think Cisco's still there. Mountcastle.
Yeah.
They're in rebuild mode. They got some players that, if I was an Orioles fan, I wouldn't mind watching. I don't know. Again, you have to weigh what they're charging for tickets. Is it worth? Are these prospects worth paying this? In your case, this Rangers $1,900. Is this team worth that? The Frisco team might be able to get away with the $1,900 season ticket. Yes, and I should know that. Yeah, Cisco.
I should know that as well. Being
he's not up. But yeah, I don't know, man. The buyers set the price. So if enough Texas Ranger fans plug down the $1,900 or whatever area they're in, the asking price, they're going to keep asking for those prices, regardless of roster. So, baseball has a little bit of that problem I talked about with the NBA. You got your Orioles and some of those bad teams, but then you got teams. I think baseball you can be kind of bad team and be good, sort of kind of quickly. Look at the Reds. They're still battling for a playoff spot. I don't think they get in, but they're still in the mix, and that's after losing Trevor Bauer to the Dodgers. You saw that move. So the Reds are going to be the Reds again, right? But they just extended David Bell. They got I believe, over 500 record. It can be done. It can happen quick too, with the right sort of moves and free agent signings. So, and a little bit of luck mixed in there. If
you use trash cans, that could help as well.
Yeah, look at Baltimore. A year or two they could be competing for that AL East. Look at Boston. They had that 5 or 6 years where they were really terrible, had one of the highest payrolls and really terrible records. And this year they're right there, right? Toronto on the cusp. Yeah. So we've seen teams, in baseball go from has-beens to competing. I think it happens more in baseball than it does in basketball. I think I think some teams are going to just be has-beens, probably. Who knows how long? Maybe forever. I hate to say it like that, but they're not destination points, right?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know.
So let's see what else is going on. So this weekend is it's actually engineering hobby hotline for the first time in a couple months. So that's going to be fun with myself and Jeremy Lee. I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about.
Well, I won't. I won't call. I won't call in and shut the show down like I did last week by accident. But
I'm thinking about just aggravating Jeremy and just booting him just to see how if his head blows up or not.
hey, Tom. Tom. I'm reading Tom Tippett's comment there. He's exactly right with that last one. Prices won't drop because of corporations buying season tickets for clients. That's
Yeah.
true. But I agree 100%. But at some point, even those corporations are going to be like, hey, this affects our bottom line too. The product we're buying, we can give our clients some free tickets to the Texas Ranger games, right?
Yeah, but
But
they
do
may
they
not
really
go.
want to go? That might be more insulting than a compliment at some point. So there is there is a point where even the corporations have to say no more. I'll use a team here. It's college. Syracuse University football.
Mhm.
I'm going actually to the game tonight, but right now we're not a great program. And I can tell you, I know people work at Syracuse, and they told me those corporations, those suites, aren't selling like they did before.
Yeah,
I,
exactly.
I had a friend go to the game last week, and he texted me, to get to your seats, you got to walk around where those corporate places are, and a lot of times the doors are open. He said he saw a lot of suite available. Still people didn't pay for them, so a lot of empty suites. So you still got to put the product on there, even to get those, if you want to call them corporate donations, where they buy the tickets and then gift the tickets to potential clients, that sort of thing. I get it, but if your product gets to a point where it's that bad, even the corporations say, "Listen, we're not just going to throw money away because we can give these to clients," but the clients are going to say, "I don't really want to see a minor league team.
Yeah,
I'll just hang out at the hotel and crack open the mini bar." So
yeah. When I was when before a couple of years ago, when we would do events, and we would do events at I did one at Double AC for the Stars, did one for the Rangers, did one for the Mavericks, done one for the Cowboys, and even at that point in time, trying to get people, we had it at the Texas Ranger Museum Hall of Fame, where you could have 100 people and then walk around and then go to the game. Even then, the Rangers were a really, really tough draw to get people to go, because they didn't want to go. And then so my boss is a sales manager. Is like, we're not going to spend that money if we can't get people there to attend the event. So then it becomes, if you one, okay, but if three or four, five or six or seven companies decide not to do season, or not to do a suite, or because that's considered, for lack of a better phrase, gravy, or those one-time events that are very profitable, because all the other expenses have been paid for. Everybody's going to be there anyway. Well, in that
there
case,
is the tax write-off aspect. There is the tax write-off
there
aspect
is.
of it. And maybe corporations do it. Maybe that's even the main focus. Hey, we need tax write-offs.
Mm-hmm.
So they do it for that reason. But yeah, I don't know, but even besides season tickets, it's not good for the leagues to have 25 bad teams and five good ones like the NBA. I think you look at baseball. Baseball probably the best example right now of parity, honestly. Football, hockey is probably right there where basketball's the worst.
You want to look at some baseball cards?
Sure, I don't know much about them, but let's see them.
you know what baseball? Do you even know what baseball is? Listen, do you know? Do you know
I
anything about baseball?
played for a little bit.
So opening day preview came out, and yeah, it's opening day, but it gives another look at what's coming up into Top Series One. So I thought we'd take just like a glance at these pictures, and you know, yeah, you got the opening day logo, but I really like that the names are larger again this year.
Yeah. Well, I have a thing for white bordered cards.
Yeah,
So I right off the bat, these are pretty clean. I heard someone comment that they reminded them of a Bowman
yeah,
release. Yeah, maybe. Well, don't forget that's the same company, you know. So
yeah,
I'm sure there's some elements that are going to be reminiscent of previous brands or other lines. So um, I like this. I like this design. I like the 2022 Tops design, which is pretty much, I believe, the same. They just put
yeah. They just
the
put this.
opening day. I like how Tops, say, hey, check out our opening day design when they've already released the 2022 Tops design. So,
Yeah,
but I actually like it. There you go with a black bordered. I'm assuming that's a parallel card.
yeah. That
Um,
black edition.
yeah,
It's one and one.
I like black. I like black and white bordered cards. I guess the white's just clean looking, and the black ones for someone who likes grading and graded cards. I think
Yeah,
it's harder to grade the black bordered cards, and so when you get a nice one and you grade it and it does well, it's even all the more better.
yeah, yeah. They went luckily Irish. I'm not a big fan of this, but it's at least they're trying to do something different.
Man, why aren't you a fan of this bread? Top of the morning to you, by the way.
Yeah, I'm 5'2".
Got a
Why would
problem
I
with the
want to?
Irish?
I'm 5'2". Do you really think I want a lucky?
All right, you got a point there. My bad. I apologize. Yellow moons, orange stars, green clovers. You'll
Hey,
never get me Lucky Charms.
the girls are always after me, Lucky Charms.
You'll never get my Lucky the Irish parallel cards. Never. But
You got the 3 player. I like how they did
this
this.
those remind me, where I'm going to probably go here, the
Matrix.
old 1980 basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Art. Now I'm assuming those are. You know what would be cool? I don't know if they can do it. Yeah. If they can make those perforated,
That would be really cool. That would be
right?
really.
Make those perforated. That way, the ones that stay intact, and one of these guys make them rookies. And if one of those guys becomes a full-time superstar, those intact, trifecta cards, if you will, get a premium rather than someone that pulls them apart and makes mini sets out of them.
Yeah, I really
Nothing
like
wrong with that either.
that.
The beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but I like to see those be perforated and see how many stay intact and how many. I think in today's day and age, most of them would stay intact anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah,
How cool would it be though to have I saw a card the other day that had it was a 2012, no 2013 Tops green, and it had Adrian Beltre, Mike Trout, and King Griffey Jr. on it. It was just a sweet card to see those big bats right there together. So I think you could play a lot off of this. Do the 3-panel rookies?
I'd rather see it with rookies. I mean, with superstars, unless they're signed, obviously it's a signed insert.
Yeah,
If that's what is that? Trout, Otani, and Rendon. It's
yeah,
a little right. That's a cool card, probably if you're an Angels fan or a Trout guy. But I mean what's that card? You know what I mean? It's cool, but I'd rather see 3 rookies on there. I'd
yeah.
rather see whether it's 3 Angel rookies in this case, or if they want to take one from different teams. That I think that would be better if I was in charge of that.
They're stickered, so that Brian Gray has said get ready for sticker heaven, but Here,
Sticker autos don't bother me as much as they bother other people. Now, don't get me twisted. If you're asking me, would I rather have a sticker auto or an on-card auto? I'd rather have the on-card auto. But sticker autos, it's still that player's autograph. It's just put onto the card after the fact. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just I don't know. There's the peeling factor, and then if a player can't seem to stay within the lines or can't draw within the lines, then you got
that I agree. I mean that you have more room for error with a sticker auto. But as far as peeling, if you put that thing in a soft sleeve and a semi-rigid top loader, it gets graded. It's obviously not going. It's not going to peel. So
yeah, I agree. I would love to see a pass brush. Oh, that would be cool. That would be cool for those 3 panels.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, right? You get a retired Hall of Famer or superstar, a current superstar, and the best prospect on that team all on one card, right? And so think about this. It's a rookie card. So if it's a rookie card with that prospect and that prospect turns out to be a superstar in their own right, their rookie card could have, let's use the Angels since we're kind of looking at that card. Let's say that's an Angels rookie prospect card, and it has Mike Trout as the current, and it has Bobby Grich or whoever, Nolan Ryan, as the veteran superstar. And that prospect, that Angels prospect, turns out to be like a huge superstar. He pans out. Now his rookie card also features Mike Trout and Nolan Ryan on it. I mean, it is a cool thing when you think about it.
Yeah, think about it. Just think about
now.
it.
I'm sure there'll be some that say, "I don't want his rookie card with Mike Trout or Nolan Ryan," but you're gonna get those people. But I think it's a cool concept. I like to see it.
That would be cool. It's stickers. When I first saw this, I thought I thought this looked like a brain.
What is it? Dirt? Is it the dirt cards?
Yeah, it's a dirt card.
Yeah. They don't do much for me. But again, this is really sort of designed, I think, with kids a little bit more in mind.
Yeah.
So a kid getting a dirt card probably a little more thrilling to them than your average collector. Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'd rather get the dirt card than the 3 Angel base card if I had a choice between.
Yeah, and then you got, I kind of dig this card, and it's a relic book card, which is something that's they've done in their higher end products. So I really like it. It's finally,
this is cool to see in a product like this.
Yeah, I mean, let's bring some innovation. Let's bring something that's different. I agree.
It's funny. Opening day is always viewed as like either a kid's product or low hits, kind of, I hate to say it, like this kind of crappy, always be on the shelf at Walmart and Target when they're selling cards. And I'd like to see that where it moves it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's not looked at as that sort of ghetto brand, if you will. Maybe that's not the greatest term, but sort of low end, cheap. You're not going to get much out of it. The rookies, there are rookies in it, but they're going to be, 30-40% of what the Topps flagship are. I'd like to see that gap close a little bit. I'm not trying to say opening day should be viewed as the same as flagship, but that gap could be closed significantly. I think doing those dual booklets with the autos and the dirt cards, while I know it's probably not going to be an easy pull, the fact that they're in there, I think helps. Yep. Also, Tom's talking about the 2003-04 Fleer Traditions with the LeBron, Wade, and Melo rookies. Don't forget Topps Matrix, same thing. Topps
Matrix. I love Matrix.
They did that as well. I like those trifecta rookies. Maybe biased because it gives you 3 chances to get a good rookie rather than one. And you look at that LeBron, Wade, and Melo, card. I mean, you got 3 guys that are probably going to the Hall of Fame. Not probably, pretty much no doubt. And so you got 3 Hall of Fame rookie cards on one. It's we look at some of the baseball cards of the past where there's been more than one rookie, right?
Yeah.
The Ryan,
the Rose,
the Rose with 4 guys, the Seaver. It's just them and 3 other guys that never really panned
Molitor.
out.
Look at them all.
Molitor's a better example because I believe you got Trammell on that too.
Yeah, you got Molitor.
So that's a good one where more than one guy hit. But when you look at Bird Magic rookie, and then it has the Julius Erving scoring card on there. So when those things hit, I mean they become iconic cards, and that's the fun of the chase, right?
Yep.
That I want to get some of those, and if 2 or 3 of these guys hit, if all 3, it's pretty going to be really good.
Yeah, I agree that Dr. Beckett talked a long time ago about, or not a long time, but a couple months back, about what would you do with if you just started your own brand new line. And I think Topps was listening. I think they kind of took a little bit of notice of because you see a little bit of those additions into Topps, into opening day. And I love opening day. I think it's a great way for kids to chase rookie cards. It's a great way they've got the mascots line. They've got the ballpark or the mascot subset. They got the ballpark subsets. They do have Hall of Fame players in last year's set. I mean, it's reaching to be a little bit more than the lower end of the spectrum. I just wish it got more of the respect it deserves, because there are some nice subsets. There are some good reasons to collect opening day.
You know what I like to see opening day bring back? I don't know all the legal ramifications. If you're old like me and collected in the 70s and early 80s, Topps used to do like when they were kids, and they'd have they'd have the ball player like pictured today, and then they'd have like a little league picture of the player like in a square box on the front of the card. And I think kids would get a kick out of that. So you'd see, Mike Trout card have a shot from today, and then one maybe from his little league days. And I think it's cool because you don't get to always see those photos. They're usually from the player or a family member's collection that they have to give them permission. I like to see that. And also, it gives kids inspiration. Hey, he played little league and he made the major leagues. Hey, I'm playing little league right now. I might be able to make it someday too. And I think that would be. I'd like to see those cards again, not just for kids. I think it's cool for adults. Some of my favorite. Remember the Studio brand with the big facial close-ups?
Yeah, I want those to come back.
Yeah, why hasn't a company? I know they're probably harder to do because they're done in a sort of non-plain setting. They're not in uniform, but maybe even do it where they are in uniform. It's just a real close-up. We've seen that on cards already. Some iconic cards are those big close-up facial shots, and I think that's one of the reasons our iconic card, the Griffey 89 Upper Deck, the 84 Donruss Mattingly. It's not his rookie card, but that 84 Donruss Tony Gwynn's a cool looking card because it's that up close. I love to see, especially in football, right? Think about football cards where you get an up close picture headshot, without their helmet on.
That 1991 Studio.
Yeah, that's I know it's not worth much in terms of value, but it's just a cool set. Even like when I look back, I pull some out or I acquire like a collection, and and going through them and seeing those close up headshots, it's just cool. And I think we haven't seen it in so long. I'd bring it back. It would be so different to people who are collecting now that may not even be familiar with 90, don't even know about 91 Studio.
Yeah, there
So
you go.
89 score, yeah.
Score. 89
So and those why those cards are like super popular. That big Barry Sanders face looking right at you, right? Deion Sanders, Troy Aikman. Those are why those are in demand more than the tops traded versions of the same year. So I'd like to see cards and these companies bring back the big close up, especially football would be interesting.
Yeah,
because we get all the they got their helmet on, they're running down the sideline, they're sacking the quarterback defense. Let's see them. Let's see them with their helmet off and close up, like that 89 score example. I think that's great. Do something different, even though it's not different because it's been done before. It hasn't been done now in so long. It becomes different again, right? And we see that even with fashion, right? Things go out of style, and then they come back, and then they go out of style again, and they'll come back 20 years from now. I'd like to see those big headshots come back in cards. I think it would be cool to see, and I think the new collectors, if you will, I think they'll be fond of it as well because it's different.
They're awesome for TTMs.
Yeah,
they're great for. You could get kids to go back to doing autographs with cards.
I think even the players themselves, Brad. Like if I'm an athlete and I can have a choice between me, 50 feet away in uniform, you can't see my face, or a headshot, I want to take the headshot.
Yeah,
so,
that makes me think of I can't remember the name of the video game where it goes headshot.
Snipe, like the sniper.
Yeah,
sniper.
But yeah,
some guys do look good with a helmet on. I would qualify if I was still playing football. I definitely qualify for that category myself. So
yeah, I think it would be cool. It would bring it back. I mean, we're seeing some of the bringbacks, but there's I don't know. I'm hoping.
I think the biggest problem in the hobby, Brad, is doing the same thing like over and over again. I know this is Ken's favorite topic, so I'm going to bring it up.
Please let's beat Ken into the ground. I love it.
Well, when Topps Project 2020 came out, right?
Yeah.
Crescendo came a big hit, and I said, "Man, this is great, but let's not beat this like a dead horse, Topps." And of course, we know where we're at now with Project 70 and other lines along those lines. So that's the problem we have. We get one thing and we just overdo it. Let's bring stuff back we haven't done in 20 years. And so it's a kid show. It's a kid show. I'm just a big kid. But let's bring that stuff back we haven't seen in 20 years. Not beat it like a dead horse. Do it 1 year and then bring it back 5, 6, 7 years later, right?
Yeah.
So
there's so much that you could do. I'm going back and looking at 2012, 2013, 2011. There's some great cards in those series, and just even if you were to just bring it back, the concept would be nice. Just even not the same design, but just the same.
Well, what we're talking about studio. The studio. Those shots were those guys in regular clothing.
Yeah,
they're civvies, if you will. I don't need them to be in a t-shirt or a polo button shirt. They could be in uniform, but let's get that sort of sitting down close up shot like that. Even if it's instead of a backdrop that you see in a studio, hence the name studio. Even if the backdrop is the baseball field itself,
right?
Let's get them sitting down and get a close up shot.
How about a clubhouse shot? How about a clubhouse? Why the cameras are decent enough? How come you can't point a camera at the clubhouse and say and call it clubhouse shots or bullpen shots or something like that? Because
Yeah.
that's in them in there. They're being typically.
I think the closest thing we have to that today is a product Tops puts out, but it's online only. It's an online exclusive. I actually have 5 boxes on its way. It's called the Archive Snapshots.
Yeah.
And they're sort of like that. They're not exactly like that, but they're probably the closest thing now that we have to like the studio line and some of those, things we're talking about where you get those close-up shots of the athletes themselves. So, I guess Archive Snapshots for now is going to be it. But these are things maybe Fanatics is listening, or they're just doing their own research and say, hey, let's do this. We have, the hobby hasn't done this in a while. Let's bring it back and do it right. And I hope they do. I'm not rooting against anyone. This is a hobby I'm part of for 38 years now, and I'm not going to root against my own hobby. I hope Fanatics does a good job, regardless whether I agree they should have got a 20-year contract or not. I have nothing to do with that. So, we'll see.
Sexy back.
Well, you have to wait till the Justin Timberlake cards come out.
Exactly. Well, let's do JT cards.
Yeah. I take that back. I was gonna say I won't be owning those. That might be if it's like a Tops online exclusive. I might just buy them and then relist them if I think so. I'm not gonna lie about it. I mean,
All right, y'all. Well, we're over an hour, and we've taken much too long.
Now I'm getting paid time and a half, Brad. So it's however long you want to go. I'll send you the bill.
I hear you. Well, I'll finish with the typical. I appreciate everybody watching. I appreciate everybody's support. If you have any prayer requests, please let me know. I prayed this morning before we went online. I will definitely have any prayer requests, and I continue to pray for those who asked for prayers. But if you have any, let me know. Support your local LCSs. Support your local card shows. Support. This is a hobby. Be kind to one another. Go ahead, John. Go ahead.
Yeah, don't and quit. This is becoming a really bad trend. Quit robbing your LCSs.
Yes,
we're getting ridiculous. Like
small business owners that are offering jobs and people's livelihoods. I mean,
Jimmy Mahan store, I believe, got robbed for the 33rd time.
Yeah.
The one store we have here in Syracuse was robbed 3 times in a 5-month span. They finally caught. Same 3 guys did all 3 robberies. They put out surveillance. They came back. They were going literally every other month, and they caught them red-handed and will be prosecuted. Like it's, because the hobby's booming and it's in the forefront of mainstream newscasts and financial networks, it's become a robbery asset. It's not just a marketable asset. It's become a robbery asset. And we're seeing a lot more of these. We saw one in Altoona where it wasn't even done after the store closed. This guy came in with a mask and gun, had the owner and the store helper go into the bathroom, closed the door, locked the door, stole the cards. They caught him fleeing on a bicycle. True story. The gun was loaded. The gun was loaded.
Oh my gosh!
It was an semi-automatic. There was none in the chamber, but there was bullets in the gun. And they, they asked him. He confessed to the crime. They asked him why that store. His answer was, I bought cards there 20 years ago, and I remembered it being there, and I went there. And they asked him why did he steal the cards for what and money, and he said he had to buy Halloween decorations.
Yeah, that's the response that needs to be given.
Now he could say that, and that Halloween decorations may be code for my fix, or
Yeah.
but it's crazy, man. I tell you, as a former LCS owner myself, someone asked me this question. I'm actually going to use it in a segment on a future Sports Card Nation podcast. But I honestly would have one of them big. If I had a store today,
Mm-hmm.
and as much work as it would be, I'd have one of them industrial safes. Those big ass
Yep.
safes. I mean, with
Gun
the
safe.
thick wall. I'd have one of those in the back of the store, and at the end of business every day, I would be putting all my wax, anything of wax significance, sealed boxes, any kind of big time cards would go into that safe and would be locked up. And I'm not saying that would prevent anyone from breaking in. They can still break in and take what I didn't put in the safe, but at least would safeguard. It'd be an additional safeguard for some really expensive products that I would obviously have, and maybe deter. Just maybe you put even a sign up. How crazy is this? Maybe you put a sign up in the store that says every night all products of significance are locked up in a 40-ton safe. Just to let people know, hey, you want to break in later? All the good stuff's going to be in a safe where the walls are this thick. Good luck to you. And then obviously you're still going to have your security systems. I mean, just, if someone breaks in, you want them caught, whether they're breaking the window and taking nothing or taking something. So it's become every day now, all over the country. Like I said, Southpaw Collectibles here in Syracuse 3 times in the last 5 months. The good thing is most of the perpetrators are getting apprehended eventually, but there's always that next person that's going to do it. So I feel for store owners. I heard someone say, "Oh, they make plenty of money, John."
No, they
Quit
don't.
feeling sorry. It don't matter, right? If you have a good job and your employer pays you well, and someone breaks into your house, should we say he's got a great job? He's very set
He's got
financially.
insurance. He can
Let's
afford
not,
that.
let's not feel bad for him. That's such a crappy answer. I heard it really says a lot about the person saying it. So I know what I'm saying is not going to deter crime, but it's sad to see. And the nice thing is most of these perpetrators and people committing these crimes are getting caught and prosecuted, and that'll be more deterrent than anything, I would say. But man, I tell you what, I'd have one of those. I don't care what it costs.
Mm-hmm.
I'd get one of those safes, and it's a lot of work. At the end of it, it's almost like doing a show in your store, right? At the end of the day, you got to take certain things out of your showcases, put all your. Truthfully, I'd have my sealed wax, not the pack stuff,
so
but I'd already have it in that vault. And if someone wanted to buy a box, I would actually open it and then
I
bring
would
it
make
out.
a big to-do out of opening it as well. Hold on, I got to go to my safe. And make sure that everybody sees the safe, opening it up, and all of that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want it visual. I mean, you could, I guess. What difference does it make if you have it seen or you put a sign saying, "Hey, we have it. We have this safe on site." If you're even having an inkling of coming back here later when we close and breaking in and taking stuff, you're not going to be a lot left in the showcases. We don't leave any money on premises, and all our wax is locked up. So, if you like BJ Surhoff cards, help yourself.
If you like, but do you put Topps opening day in the safe?
Probably not. But with those booklet cards now, gotta think about it.
Yeah. Do you put the big league action figures? Do you put the big league?
You can't listen. You can't put everything in the safe. But man, all my prime stuff is going to be going in there every day. And again, it'll be a lot of work. Then when you open up in the morning, you got to reset everything up. I get it, but that's where we're at, man. That's where we're at as a society. Look, people are stealing cards out of showcases at shows, the National, all these big shows. You think they're not going to break into a store when no one's there and take a bunch of stuff, you better believe it. So I'm going to just safeguard my stuff as best as I can.
Yep. Well, that's a good note to end on. And Tom, Tom owns his for the collectors in Longview. Good long term friend of mine. Good, some of my oldest and dearest friends, and you know, I sympathize for him every single day because you never know what's going to happen. But on
It's
that,
got yeah, it's gotten bad.
support your local LCSs, support your local card shows. Don't uh, don't be forget the negativity in the hobby and just be positive. Just show some positiveness. Be some positiveness. And we'll end on some positiveness. And I'll get out of here. And John, thank you for joining. And I hope everybody had a good time and all that entails. And I'll let you throw in one last word and I'll give you the same honor you did me. Give out your socials.
All right. Well, I'm going to get my first coffee. I'm way overdue for it. Socials are real easy, Brad, as you know. Sports Card Nation podcast, 4 words. If you Google that, everything will come up. Twitter, Instagram, website, podcast platforms, Apple, iTunes, all that stuff will come up. And I'll give out the website because that's easy. www.sportscardnationpodcast, all one word.com.
All right.
www.sportscardnationpodcast.com.
All right. So we appreciate you, everybody. And y'all have a great weekend. And I will see y'all tomorrow morning on Hobby Hotline. We're out.